Well, hello and welcome to the tutorial video for Module 8 of Launch Academy. Super excited to dive into sort of my best tips and ideas for how to deliver your course content in an awesome way. So I'm going to share with you a couple of documents we're going to go through and also look at a couple of websites, including the Launch Academy course site. And so we'll dive into that right now. So I'm going to pull up the course site. This is Module 8 for a Launch Academy. So I wanted to start here because I think it's important for you to get that and to understand that the delivery of your course is really about how you organize it on your course website. Clearly, there's other things you need to prepare for, your teaching outline, pulling all your materials together. But you obviously have come into this course website and Launch Academy many, many times over the last 4 months. So here I just wanted to review with you what it is that you're going to be creating, whether you're using Teachable or Access Ally or using Kajabi or Kartra. They'll all have some templates for how you organize your course content. So as you know, as we click here back on the home tab of Launch Academy, is that you can lay out your course based on your modules in the course website. So you have module 1, as you can see over here, module 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those should match with the course outline that's on the course website. You have anything else you want to put in here, your bonuses. If you have some expert faculty sessions like mine, if you have any other information about coaching or anything else, you've seen this time and time again. This is where you put it into your course website. So in Module 8, you're going to be focused on looking at the course delivery plan. So that's putting all your materials together, how you deliver a good live call, how you communicate with your participants, your paid participants, how you're going to integrate all of your course delivery technologies together using, let's say, Zoom for your live calls. Also, you might be using Maestro Conference. You'll have your course website where maybe a Facebook page, right? So you need to think about all those things. And then, of course, you're going to be building your course website or course portal. That's the example that I'm showing you here. You'll also have a course bonus package that'll be on your course sales page, but it'll also be on your inside your course website where they can actually download and get their materials, their bonus materials right here on the course website. So there you have it. This is the layout that I've chosen here, and I'm going to start with this here is that I think it's really powerful to use a template where it's very well organized. You can see the menu at the top. There's also a menu down the side with all the modules. So it's pretty clear every time you land in here, you're seeing what you need to go through. Access Ally, which I use here, has all these features with the check boxes, and if you watch a video, it automatically checks it off, all that. There's a lot of rich features that will particularly be important and helpful when you look to take this course and move it to an evergreen course where it's available 24/7, 365. Then you're going to want some features that keep people accountable, that they're self-accountable to their learning in the course with check boxes. So here, as you can see in Module 8, I haven't done all the check boxes, so my module progress is 0. But look, Module 1 through 6, I've completed those. And I can check these boxes here, and you can just watch the progress go up, which is awesome. There's the quiz, which I include here. You really don't need a quiz. If people like sometimes to have a quiz. Other times it's sort of just kind of perfunctory. So you have to decide if you're going to use something like that. Your resources will be in here, either PDF documents or Word documents. And then, of course, whatever videos you choose. Your main teaching video, maybe the live call video, and then any other supplemental videos, tutorial videos, etc. So you can see how I've got all the videos down one side of the column and materials, if you will, and then all the checkbox and navigation down on the left side here. So, and just to remind you is to make sure that this is all connected to your marketing. So you can have your outline here, module 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the brief titles for them. But just to let you know, as I click over here and as I come to the Launch Academy marketing page, this is the Launch Academy sales page. scroll down. I think you've all seen this, and I scroll down and I'll come to the what you'll learn in Launch Academy, and there it is, Module 1, create your customized launch roadmap. Module 2, define your course avatar. So all this that I used here, check it out. I just pull it and I just use it here. So there is the launch roadmap, define your avatar, and when you go into the module, let's see, this was kind of very slow for me right now, I think because I'm video recording. But when you go into a module, the little blurb that I used in the course sales page, I just use it again as a summary for the, right here, a summary for the Module 1 overview. So this summary where it says in your first module, in our first module of this course, we'll be exploring, and then those bullet points, those basically come from my course sales page. So you don't have to reinvent it, but you also want to recognize that people signed up for the course a long time ago, that maybe they didn't look at the page all that closely. So that what you'll learn section is really important to bring that back in, those bullet points, and stick it into an overview in your course delivery site, which this is. So, so there you have it. So that I just wanted to give you an overview. Please feel free to just reverse engineer what I've done here for your course, whether you use Access Ally or some other template. Some of the other sites like Kajabi and Kartra will already have a course template or 2 or 3 that you can choose from. And then it's just loading your video up, loading your materials, and it will already have, the template for you. So now let's go. I'm going to switch gears and we're going to go to a document here in a second. Let me just pull this up. We're going to switch to a new share, and I'm going to go to this document, share the screen, and make sure that it is shared. Okay. So the course delivery content and delivery plan document. This is one of the documents here. Just wanted to go through this very quickly and give you some tips and pointers here. What I've broken this down into is 2 sections. One is the content and session format, meaning if you're going to do a live course session, a live call each week of your course, and then the technology components is part 2. So what I want to let you know about in this document, which is important to note, is that this first part where I'm talking about your live course session and the content and all that, it's really if you plan to teach live on the call. It's really not set up that well, or this flow is not set up that well if your main teaching is already in a 15 or 20 or 30-minute video, and that the call is more or less a Q&A, coaching call, and all that. So this flow is really for you if you intend to teach for 45 minutes, 60 minutes in that call, and then have a Q&A right after that. And it's really the only challenge is the very first call of your course where you're teaching some content and you're going into Q&A. There may not be all that many questions, so you can kind of adapt that and maybe do an exercise or have people share out about something, share out their intention. Because once you get into module 2, 3, 4, or 5, that means you'll start having questions from the previous module, maybe the current one, all that. So you'll get more questions as you get deeper into the course. So this flow of this format is welcome, opening ritual, kind of a quick review of the previous session, an overview of where you're going, having a breakout, core teaching, live exercise. All this flow that you can see in the document is if you're planning to teach fully the session. This is what's great about a live online course, because when you teach it and you record it, that means the recording that goes up on your course website is both the teaching recording for that course, for that module, and it's also the Q&A in one. You don't have to split them out. It's like watch this whole thing to see the teaching, experience the teaching, and also get the Q&A. So now as we go down further, I explain all the little different sections. Some of the things that I'm mentioning here, like a breakout session, is really can only be done on Maestro Conference as one technology that's mostly audio. There is a video component to Maestro, but it's just you on video and then people listening. So, and it's not all that great. Zoom has breakout features, but you've got to really practice that and learn it and see what the breakout structure is. I have not yet used Zoom breakouts. I'm still learning it, trying to decide if I want to use it. But in the past, I've absolutely used Maestro Conference for my main teaching technology through the live course. So that's when I talk about breakouts, it's the breakouts that you can do inside Maestro Conference, or now you can do inside Zoom. You have to learn how to use that module of Zoom. So you can see I'm just scrolling down all to my description of all the different sections. What I like for if you are doing a live teaching is to break it up into two distinct sections. Your teaching session, that could be 45 to 60 minutes, and then your Q&A or share outs, whatever you want to do there, and that could be 30 to 45 minutes for that, for a 90-minute call. If you feel like your teaching is really tight and you want to do a 60-minute call, you could either teach for 30 to 45 minutes max and have the rest of the time for Q&A. So there you go. There's also what I call the final breakout. So if you're using Maestro Conference or the breakout functionality in Zoom, you could complete your call and then let people stay on longer to just communicate on their own. So that's what I mean by final breakout. Totally optional. Not saying you should necessarily use it in every course, but sometimes that can be really powerful if you have a small cohort that really want to keep learning together. So these are all self-explanatory of sort of what the things that you'll need to include. Weekly practices, homework, you may need to talk about that in your live call and just give them some context, reflection questions, discussion prompts for them to share out things during the course, talk about your resources, materials for that module. And then one of the things you'll need to do is create your master teaching outline in preparation for you to deliver this course live online. I think many of you, and where online learning is going, is to actually pre-record your teaching videos where you can use a PowerPoint slide deck. If you get stuck or make a mistake, you can start over or edit it out. So a lot of people prefer to do their teaching through a video. Then people can go watch it anytime they want on demand inside the course. And they don't necessarily have to show up live for the call, or they don't necessarily have to go back and listen to the whole 90-minute call. And then if you do that, then I would recommend probably an hour-long call, which is Q&A/laser coaching, getting share outs from students. Okay? So that's that. Oops. So I'm going to go to part 2 quickly here. I got put all the way back to the beginning. So now coming back to part 2 of your course technology. So here we are at the course delivery technologies. So the 3 key things, and I'll say it again, are the course website itself for all the materials to be housed there, for a chance for participants to leave notes or discussions, notes if you want inside the course website, or that can be in a Facebook private group. Then the live sessions will be typically on something like Maestro Conference or Zoom or Instant Teleseminar. It's getting pretty narrow. The field is pretty narrow to a handful of technologies depending on what you're wanting to do. And I would say if there's any video you're going to do, then I would do Zoom. And then if you want to have really great functionality in breakout groups and doing dyads and triads and having people have a lot more interactivity between the participants, then using Maestro Conference can be really powerful for your live sessions as well. Then for your materials, you'll need to have obviously pre-recorded videos, all of your documents generally in a PDF format, other audio files or anything like that. All those materials, some of them have a technology to them, like if they're in a video or an audio, and you will then need to post those up on the course website. So the course website, you've seen already the example with Launch Academy. There's really, I don't think you should worry too much about having to think through this other than the technology that you're going to choose, right? So if you choose to use Kajabi, there's going to be templates in there for you. If you choose Access Ally, you'll have a lot more flexibility, but it'll be based on your WordPress site. So you'll create a separate WordPress site for the course, and that's why it looks all pretty, and those are all templates, but you can tell it how to lay it out and the content you need to put in there. And so you just want to make sure that you have your kind of home page, which is a welcome and getting started page, all the information they need, the basic information to access the Zoom call, other information they need, any key documents right off the bat that you want them to download. You would put that all on your homepage or your Getting Welcome and Getting Started page. And then I encourage that you could put your program information on that page. And then as you look to put your course materials, you want to have a separate page in whatever platform you're using for module 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then that's where your videos would go and your documents and all that, right? So that's course materials. Now, discussion forum, some of the platforms, I think Teachable has this, certainly Kajabi has this, where you can turn on discussion forum inside each module. You can turn it on your homepage, but I think it's basically page by page specific. So you could do it that way where people are putting comments or responding to things inside the course website. But I've seen that doesn't get us a lot of traction and a lot of connection in there. People happen to be in the site all that long. They're just going to watch the video and then they go out. So for discussion for your participants, I still think the best solution is a Facebook group, private Facebook group. You can also leave that up as both for people that are in the course, but any graduates can stay in there so it's a community, just like you're learning in Launch Academy, where already there's a bunch of people from Launch Academy last year and the prior year, and then all of you in the course right now are in there, and your graduates and current students are mixing together and being able to talk and share. Clearly, it'll be whoever's most active in the course currently will be probably more active in the Facebook group, but you don't have to keep clearing it out. Like if you were to use a discussion forum inside the course website, every time you relaunch the course, you'd have to clear out those comments and kind of start afresh. And with Facebook, obviously, it's just a stream. So that's discussion forum. Your live sessions, we talked about that. You would want to make sure if you're choosing either Maestro Conference or Zoom or whatever, that people have the access information by email when you're communicating them, and it's also in the course website. Pretty much everything that anybody in the course needs to know needs to be in your course website. So you don't want to be doing a lot of extra emailing. Oh, don't forget about this, or here's that. Your emails will be all reminders, and then the reminders will point them back to the page in your course website. Hey, if you want to access the program, information or the dates, it's all on the course website. So you might want to also be thinking about, when you're thinking about the technology and the Facebook group and being on live calls, is if you have your virtual assistant or a program coordinator that's working with you in the course, you'll just need to talk about how much do you want to introduce them. You might want to introduce them on your live calls and have them be somebody that people see. They could be somebody totally in the background. And you want to just define those roles clearly with that person so they know how much they're interacting with your community. If you introduce them, then you can also have them as somebody on the Facebook page, the Facebook group page, where they can answer some questions in there and all that. So I think it's always better to be transparent with who are your assistants and your support team for your course. So course materials, we've gone through all this. These are just more details of the materials and the practice documents and the recordings that you'll need for your course. I do have one section here about transcripts. This was a big thing a few years ago, and seems to be getting less and less. But if you were doing your live teaching call, I know that some of my students really loved and appreciated having a transcript of your teaching for that module so that they could read it. Rather than watch a video, they could download it, print it out, highlight it, read it. So I certainly haven't done transcripts for Launch Academy. It's too long of a course, too much material, and most everything is by video. But if you have a 6 or 7 week online course and you want to have a transcript of your teaching, that can be a really powerful bonus, something that you can put on your course sales page that says, course teaching transcripts for every module, that kind of thing. And then email communication, we'll talk about that in a little bit when I get to the other document. So I do want to share with you this. If you haven't gone into the document yet, just notice at the very bottom of this document, which is the course content and delivery plan, is a sample teaching outline for my Man on Purpose course. It's basically just session 1, but it gives you a sense of how I lay out my teaching outline. Now, this is not something I share with the public at all. These are my notes when I taught the Man on Purpose course live. So we didn't pre-record the videos or audios. It was every session we do some teaching. I had a co-teacher for a couple of the years. So that when I say we, it means we did a little dance of we co-taught the course, George and I, and then Brandon and I. And so we had our markers. So as you see here, session 1 is the welcome, who's in the room, setting the container, outcomes for you, how to get most out of the course. So we did this, and then we jumped into the content of what Module 1 is. So I wanted you to see how I laid this out as just talking points and bullet points. Of course, I did not script the whole course out, but I kind of knew what I was going to hit, and then talked about these pieces from my knowledge of them. So that I just wanted to show you that, so you had that. And so now I'm going to go quickly over to the other document, which is now this one is, if I get to it, this is called the Course Communications and Follow-Up document. So just wanted to hit this really briefly. Not only are we talking about you delivering the content, putting that in a beautiful course website, and then having all the materials and all your technology set up, you also need to be communicating with your participants throughout the course. So when we talk about delivery of your content, yes, it's your course content, but it's also the reminders and the emails that people get every week. Sometimes, 2 emails per module, depending on what you want to do. It's usually at least 1, right? Coming into the first module, and then another email going into the next module, so on. Or you could do, kind of 2, one right coming into the module and then a few days after that module. So just wanted to remind you that there are 3 distinct time periods of course communications with your paid participants, and that's before the course. They need some information and details and logistics to get onto the course website, to remind them of the dates of the first call, all that. And I've given you samples of that. And then during the course is what I'm talking about, is now you have some kind of course communication plan during your course. Minimum of 1 email related to each module per module, or possibly 2, 1 going in and 1 coming out. And then you just decide what you put in that. I like going during the course, I like to go, and I'll just scroll down here for you. This is all the going in. So if screenshot example, so here we go. So I like having emails where we're talking, where there's the first email is kind of like a prep you for the module coming up, right? Like, hey, this is coming up, super excited about it. Don't forget there's some things you need to do before you go into this module. And then as you come out of the module, it's a reminder of the homework assignments or the practice that you assigned in that module coming out, right? So, hey, here's this, go here, check out this page, and then here is your prep, or here is your work for this coming week, right? So, because your first module starts with your first module, and then you're asking them to do something between that first start of that first call and before the second call. So then when you get to the second call, then you're going to be giving them more information about what to do in module 2 going forward. Does that make sense? So when you get to your final call in module 7, that's your final call, but they're still going to be doing work going forward, even though that's your final call, because you've introduced module 6 or 7, your final module, in that last call, and then you're asking them to do stuff going forward. So you're kind of wrapping up the course, you're talking about module 7, wrapping up the course, and then sending them on their way to do that last bit of work. So, so a good example, so here's just a good example from a course that I helped create with a couple that I know well, called the Risk course. And this is just an email template that they set up with 2 columns. So kind of a quick links on one side and a little overview of, okay, session 4 is going to be this. And then, and then some content that would help people for that module, right? And then here's another example. It's where they kind of flipped it, where it's on now the right side. And so you've seen the emails that I've put out, which is just a single column email. I don't have the 2 columns, but I give you some tips and some updates and some reminders, lots of kind of accountability reminders. Don't forget to do these things, or sign up for this or whatever. Then after the course, you really want to make sure that you are ending in a good way. And so after the course, you want to have a final email that just says, thank you so much, amazing. I know you're still working on final pieces in the course, but we are complete with our calls together. You'll be wrapping up in the next week. And here's some things to think about, or here's some information I'd like to share with you. Here's some additional resources. So that final email is just that, a final email, just as if it would be like the other ones where it's here's the follow-up to the final module, but you're going to probably have some kind of thank you, and so great to have you in the course. If you have any questions, email me here or post things on the Facebook group page, that kind of thing. The other key thing you're going to do is you're about a week later after, we'll really call it 2 weeks after the final call is ideal to send out your feedback survey. And I've got, the examples are here, right here in the document of what some questions that you can put into a SurveyMonkey or some other survey program or, survey app that you can find online. So these are the questions you would ask, so you could start gathering good information that you can use to change your course going forward. This will also be, what's really important here is look at these questions here. And I suggest that you just use the questions I've given you here. You might want to vary some of them, but I've seen a lot of surveys. I've gone through a lot and myself, and these are kind of the best questions that I think for an online course that you should be asking. But just to note that your question 12 here, the final 2 questions relate to getting a testimonial. So this is really one of the most important things about the feedback survey and completing the course in a good way is to get good feedback, but also to harvest as many testimonials as you can without having to track people down. Like imagine if you had 50 people in your course, you just tell them, hey, we would like your testimonial, and you can do it right here in the survey. You still will probably only get 20 or 30% of the people doing it, but that's a lot easier than trying to track down, asking people over and over again, could you do a testimonial? Could you do a testimonial? If you have some students that really rocked it, they just loved it, they were so on it and participating and seemed really smart and all that, there are certain students that I recommend that you reach out to personally and say, gosh, I know you had a great experience in the course. Would you mind writing a testimonial for me? The key thing is the testimonial, and that's why I ask these questions here, is it's really important that you get the right kind of testimonial. And the right kind of testimonial is not, first of all, it's not, hey, this was so great, the course was awesome, Chris was awesome, I had a great time. That's not a great testimonial. A good testimonial is, what transformation did you experience through the course? What happened and how has it impacted you? You want them to give you basically a before and after story. Coming into the course, I was really kind of lost and didn't really know my purpose. But then going through this process with Chris and really learning about, my patterns of how I torpedo my own purpose, I really got clear not only on my purpose, but what gets in the way. And now I know how to go forward and really live my purpose powerfully. So you want a little bit of what was the transformation? What did they learn? What did they get? And how did it impact them? I am now this. I am feeling more excited than ever. I'm more empowered. See, that's the kind of stuff when people read the testimonial that they can see and put themselves in the shoe of that kind of before or after, that person's shoe. And then, of course, I have another question that says, if you write this testimonial, can we share it with other people? So I want their approval right here in the feedback survey to say, yes, you can share my testimonial, and I don't have to track them down. I've got a nice testimonial. I've got their approval to use it, and then we can go and start putting that in other places, like on your course sales page. So there you have it. That is really, I think, most of the information I wanted to share with you. I am really just tickled that you chose to join Launch Academy, and this tutorial is for our final module. So I hope you've been enjoying moving through all of the modules and not only learning from my teaching videos, but also from these tutorial videos. So my final advice to you here is to just go for it. Really, it's so easy to get caught into all the details and minutia and the perfection around creating a great online course. I say, You just do your best, give it your best quality you can, and just dive in, launch it. Just even if it doesn't feel right or a little wonky or imperfect, just get it out there, because then you'll refine it. You'll refine it. You can always come back to these materials and see, oh, I didn't do that, or I should have done this, or let me grab that copy that Chris had in there. And feel free to reverse engineer anything. You see what you've got in the Launch Academy course website. You've seen the materials I put out, the emails you received from me. Borrow and use all of that. Use that as creative fodder for you to create your own program and to create your own communications, your own emails, and your own content. So thanks very much, and I hope to see you down the road.